And there it is, the thing that is dictating my life these days. This is my view from my hostel, and if I see blue, any kind of blue out there, then I can go somewhere. No blue, then I can't go. I see blue, but there are some dark clouds on the horizon there. But that blue is very encouraging, so I'm hopping on the scooter. Now, the reason I went to the door in order to look outside to check the weather is because I was staying in a low-budget hostel here in Padang. My room is actually right there, walking towards it now, and that room, being a low-budget, inexpensive room, doesn't have any windows, so I can't check the weather. That's why I have to look outside through the door. And I'm leaving for a day's scooter trip here, and you notice right there, there's a mattress on my right, and I'm going through the lobby very quietly because the staff of the hostel are still sound asleep, and they are sleeping on that mattress there. So I'm putting my helmet down very carefully, and now I'm coming to the door. And in low-budget hostels, too, the doors are usually quite loud. They scrape against the floor, the hinges squeak, so I have to lift the door up from the bottom and carefully open it so I don't make any noise because I don't want to wake up the staff. And the reason I'm doing all of this is because here's my scooter. My scooter, for security and safety reasons, has been parked inside the lobby. So I have to get my scooter out. That's not my scooter. I had to move it out of the way so I can get my scooter. And now I have to move my scooter over a little bit, put the key in, and then slowly and carefully I have to roll my scooter out of the lobby. And I'm doing this very carefully. It's so easy to bump into things and make a noise. And this scooter has an odd habit where the rear wheel makes a beeping sound as you go backwards. It's like squeaking, but it sounds exactly like one of those beeps, you know, a truck makes when it backs up. And I was really worried that I'd wake up the staff. There he is there, sound asleep, poor guy. And then I carefully roll my scooter out the front door. Funny thing is, when you open the door, you're also letting in the roar of the traffic outside, and I'm always worried that the traffic sound is going to wake him up as well. So there's the outside world of Padang. I think it's about 8 o'clock in the morning, something like that. So it's not super early, but it is the weekend, and I think the staff stayed up late, so they're sleeping in the morning. Got to get my helmet and my other GoPro. I've got one GoPro on my chest harness. That's what's filming this. And there's my other GoPro on the GoPro 3-way grip. And now I've got to carefully close the door, nice and slowly, so that it doesn't make any noise. First thing I do now, of course, is attach my main GoPro. I think of that one as GoPro number 1. The one on my chest harness is GoPro number 2, and I'll probably be referring back to them later on in this video. And I have a special mounting system I developed using a giant claw, and this claw is attached to the handlebars, and I put the claw around the base of this grip, and then I use an elastic band to wrap it around the stock of the mirror, and it does a really nice job of holding it in place. Got to put my knapsack down there for safekeeping. Helmet's got to go on now. I'm actually kind of happy that I remembered to bring out my helmet. Most days I focus so much on making sure I bring all the right camera gear and packing for the day that I'm always going outside and forgetting my helmet. I think I talk about that later in the video. And this time I didn't forget. I had my helmet. Next thing I need to do is sit on the scooter and hold it level like I'm riding it, and then I can adjust the level of the GoPro so that it is, you know, facing back at me properly. Turning on the Rode Wireless Go receiver there, and now turning on my Rode Wireless Go transmitter, because it doesn't always connect to the GoPro. So I have to do a test every morning. So what I'm doing now is turning on the GoPro, and then I'm going to do a quick test video. So once the GoPro is running, you'll see here I'm pushing the record button, and then I say something like testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, testing. And now here we get into a weird thing about GoPros and DJI action cameras, because a DJI now, the front screen is a touch screen, but the GoPro doesn't have one on the front yet. So right now I'm trying to operate the controls on the back of the GoPro. I do it by memory. I'm trying to remember how to do it, but I couldn't get it done. So I'm giving an exasperated sigh, and now I have to get on the scooter, walk all the way around to the back of the scooter, and now by swiping up the screen, I can replay my test video, and I can see whether the audio is working or not. And at that point, it was working. It had connected. So now I can move on to the rest of my day, get back on the scooter, and now I am finally ready to leave, starting up the scooter, and I'm about to take off for the beginning of another exciting day on the scooter in Padang. So, once again, leaving from the Wisma Rumah Kita relatively early in the morning. It's just after 8 o'clock. And this morning's trip is inspired by a little bit of blue sky that I see up there. It's amazing how my life is sort of dictated by the weather. I feel like maybe a traditional farmer or hunter-gatherer from centuries ago. I wake up in the morning, look outside, lick my finger and stick it in the air, judge just how much torrential rain there's going to be. What is going on? Yeah, I'm going in the wrong direction. Yeah, this is not the way I wanted to go. I was sitting here trying to think, okay, I know I'm going somewhere today, and yet this intersection doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, am I supposed to go left or right here? And then I realized you weren't even supposed to go this way at all. But anyway, I check the weather conditions, and that dictates what I do today, what crops I plant, what crops I harvest, what part of my farm I work on. Looks like there's some kind of a family celebration happening here today. So, and because there's not quite as much blue sky as I would like, and this is where I'm supposed to turn right, by the way. Now, I made that mistake about direction because I've headed towards the ocean, like the coastal road inside Padang City so many times. I'm sort of on autopilot now, heading in that direction. But now, what I want to do is cross the river, across my favorite bridge, and then follow the river as closely as I can until I can get to another road. It's actually the same road that I took when I rode my scooter from the village of Sariak to Padang. And I chose that road in particular because it is supposed to be scenic and has some nice viewpoints. But of course, on the day that I made that trip, the weather didn't cooperate, and it was raining a lot, and there was a huge traffic jam because of accidents, and I didn't get to see anything at all. All I saw was raindrops on my helmet visor. That's pretty much all I saw. So I've never done a U-turn here before because the sign tells me I can't, but today I'm going to just ignore the sign and do it. Anyway, there are two viewpoints, like official marked viewpoints, about 20 and 24 kilometers away from here, something like that. And I'm heading inland up into the mountains rather than along the ocean. It's a Sunday today, so you see all these cyclists. You get a lot of people on bicycles on the weekend, on Sundays in particular. I was sort of hoping that the sun would be beating down on me right now, but that is not what is happening. So here's my favorite part of Padang, once again, riding alongside the river. Can't get enough of this. Ooh, I need gas. There's my roti guy. Maybe he's a different one. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to be going by gas stations, so I don't have to worry that much about getting gas. I can do it along the way. There's a bunch of stuff happening on the river here. I wonder why. I see lots of, saw women there in red and white t-shirts setting out some food. I've never noticed that before. There's a shipwreck right out in the middle of the river. If you can see that. You can just see, oh no, maybe that's a dock. Okay, I thought it was a boat. But I think that's just the remains of a dock that was allowed to rot away, a pier or something. But it does occur to me, as it often does, that riding on a scooter like this, as amazing as it does have an effect on your day and your activities. Because if I were walking, I probably would have had like 15 encounters with local people already. Like all the people I've passed would have called out to me and stopped me and invited me to chat with them or have a cup of coffee or have a snack. Or there were some people exercising there. They'd probably want me to exercise with them. Who knows? But of course, when you're on a scooter, things like that don't naturally happen. But of course, there are advantages to the scooter. One of which is I can easily go 20 kilometers to a lookout point. Some kind of a swimming spot up here, some young boys playing at the side of the river. Going in for a swim. Here under the bridge, I'm going to do a quick, stinky. This is obviously the occasional outdoor bathroom. There is a place here where I need to cross the river. Oh yeah, it's just up ahead. So the next bridge I cross to the other side. And then I have to follow that road to when it meets back up with the river, then another bridge. And then I'm on my way to the lookout point. Though I don't have high hopes anymore for the lookout point, just because the sky is getting very hazy. But we'll see. Yeah, I think I remember there was a kind of a recycling garbage collection area right here. Yeah, that's where this fire is burning. Yeah, sort of a garbage dump, but they do tend to burn a lot of the garbage here. Yeah, you can see all the collections here, recyclables. Recyclables. All right. Cross the bridge. And then along the bridge on this side. Or along the river on this side, I should say. That's where I want to go. I'll keep the GoPro angled that way. You can see the buildings at the side of the road if there's anything interesting going on there. Here's someone getting gas at the side of the road, but I'm still hoping to pass a gas station. Because right now, I wouldn't know how to judge how much gas to put in, you know, like how many liters to ask for. And I want to fill her up all the way to the top. Unusually, oh, I see. Wondering why everyone was riding so slowly. It's unusual that they all have a precious cargo on their scooters, either really tiny babies or birds in a cage. So all those people were going very slowly. I was wondering what was going on. I'm normally the one being passed, not the one passing other people. I wonder if I'll see cyclists out on this road that climbs up into the mountains. Somehow I doubt it. That would be a pretty serious climb to get up there, but maybe. You want exercise, 20 kilometers worth of exercise, that's where you would go. Railroad tracks. Looking, no trains. I wonder sometimes if YouTube and the modern internet has had a positive or a negative effect on safety overall. But perhaps it's only me, but I do find I end up watching quite a few crashing videos on YouTube. Like, I can never resist if I see some sort of a video short about a huge transport truck carrying 15 luxury cars, and they stall on a train track and can't get out of the way, and then a train comes barreling along and just destroys, just obliterates the truck. I can never resist that video. I watch all of them, so I have those in my head. So when I go over railroad tracks, I never just go across them without looking. I always slow down at least and look in both directions. Same thing with scooters. I'm much more careful riding because I see so many crash videos on YouTube involving scooters or motorcycles, cars, buses. So it actually makes me much more cautious. And maybe in the old days, pre-YouTube, you wouldn't see all that and you think you're invulnerable. That could just be me. But you also have the flip side on YouTube where people are doing more dangerous things or more exciting things because they are hoping the video will be more exciting or interesting. Jumping off of cliffs, for example, cliff diving, skateboard tricks, BMX tricks, and perhaps a lot more people are being injured because they're taking video of themselves while they do these things. And they go for more extreme tricks or they get distracted by the cameras. Maybe that is meant more people are being injured because of YouTube. This is all brand new territory, by the way. I've never gone down this road in Padang before. Not that I remember anyway. I can't remember if I'm supposed to go left or right here to get to the next bridge and the next road. So, time for a map check. Oh, I think I see the bridge to the right, but I'll just double check. So yeah, supposed to turn right, cross the bridge, and then I link up with the big road. Well, the big road. It's not that big, but it's the main road. And the place where I'm going to is called Sitinjau Lawik. Sitinjau Lawik. There's Panorama 1, Panorama 2, and after Panorama 2, the road gets very, very wrinkly, very windy and curvy. And as I said, I rode to Padang on this road, but I didn't see a thing. So I may even, we'll see how far I get. I may continue past the lookout points just to ride on that road and see what it looks like. Because I saw nothing beyond the raindrops on my visor last time. And there was that huge traffic jam. Back on the river, as you can see. And turning left on this bridge. I was here the other day. I remember crossing this bridge, the one that's directly ahead of me. And stopping for iced tea somewhere around here. Very stinky truck ahead of me. Garbage truck. Don't really need to pass anybody. I'm going a very short distance on this road, so I'll stop trying to pass this garbage truck. If anyone else wants to pass him, I'll let them get ahead of me. Like this van. I just deliberately slowed down so that they could get around me. Okay, here we are already. Yeah, we're just merging with the main road. Let's see what happens to the traffic here. Solok. Yeah, this road, its first major destination is the city of Solok. I passed through there on my way here. One thing about these intersections, there's never traffic lights on the other side of the intersection. They're only on this side. I guess it's sort of a money-saving system. But when you ride your scooter all the way to the front of the line, you're like beyond the traffic light. So it's really, you have to look straight up into the sky to see whether the light is turned green or not. So whenever I come to a stop, I'm always too far forward. It's like, oh, now I can't see the traffic light anymore. Local people seem to know by instinct, though. They start creeping forward before it turns green. So I often take my cue from other people. If they start moving, I'm like, okay, they know the green light is coming soon. And there they go. Everyone's going across. But I don't see a green light yet. What do they know that I don't know? There we go. Yeah, they just jumped the gun. Well, I found a gas station, and not surprisingly, it's busy. Yeah, I've never seen one before where they have 3 lineups like this. It's very efficient when you think about it, because the 3 scooters at the front can all get their gas at the same time without moving. They still can only fill 1 tank at a time, but it's more efficient in terms of people moving their scooters and raising the seat and opening their gas tank. Yeah, it goes line 1, then the first scooter in line number 2, then I wonder how this system developed. People here just seem to know what to do. The more I see of this system, the more delighted I am. So I was wondering how in the world the 3 scooters at the front could move forward once their gas tank was full, because they'd be blocked by the hose. But in fact, the way it works out, the 3 people know to roll their scooters past the pump so that the gas line goes behind them. And then each time a scooter is filled up, then there's enough room for the the next person can just roll forward because the hose isn't in the way anymore. Yeah, I don't know if this system evolved naturally or whether someone came up with it and just instituted it and it became a habit at this gas station, but that person deserves a Nobel Prize in system design. I love this. I love a good lineup is what I'm saying. So you notice the guy in front of me, he moved exactly beyond the gas pump. So then the attendant can go to all 3 scooters, and then when he finishes with all 3 of them, then the next 3 can move forward. Yeah, it's brilliant. So that guy, yeah, he can move forward, and yeah, because it's clear ahead of him. My turn next. I have to do things properly so that I don't hold up the line. Oke, terima kasih. There you go. Nothing could be faster or more efficient than that. Like, I'd love to see a statistical study of that, where you would take, 45 scooters, put them in a single line, and see how long it takes to fill all their tanks, and then divide them up into 3 lines, 15 scooters in each line, and do the same thing. I'll bet it would be significantly faster, like much, much faster than you'd think. These are the things that delight me on Planet Doug. I've been in so many places around the world, like a bank or immigration office or whatever, and there's a lineup for service, and then the lineup is just like total chaos and confusion. And you just imagine that this has been going on for decades, and it never occurs to anyone to fix the system or implement any kind of a system or think about how it can be improved. put up a sign, you know, directions, anything. So when I see something like that, my heart sings. I just love it. I don't know how many liters went into the tank. I wasn't paying that much attention to the amount, but it was 25,000 rupiah, so it's probably, yeah, about 2 liters. It's amazing how different a city feels after you've been there for a while. Like I said, I came into Padang on this road, but of course it was all brand new to me. I was very unfamiliar with it. And it was at the end of a relatively long day riding in the rain and heavy traffic. So it felt like a fairly unfriendly place. But now I kind of know where I am, I know what I'm doing, and yeah, completely different place now. But I'm still looking forward to getting out of this part of the city. We're still in sort of a busy area. I want to be out in the mountains. On a narrow, winding road. I had another thought this morning as I was riding and then hanging out at that gas station related to safety and security. Because what I tend to do is take my knapsack and I put it on the floor of the scooter between my feet rather than putting it on my back. And I do that mainly, well, for 2 reasons. Mainly for comfort, because you have the knapsack on your back the entire day. If it's heavy, the shoulder straps become uncomfortable and you end up all sweaty on your back, right where it rests against your shirt and your back. And the other reason is for ease of access. I always need something out of my bag, GoPro battery, an adapter, something. So it's easier just to have it right in front of me. I don't have to take it off my back every time I need something. But it does occur to me that as unlikely as it seems, my knapsack between my feet is kind of vulnerable. A clever scooter thief who knows what they're doing could kind of zoom up beside me, grab the knapsack, pull it up and out, and get away. It wouldn't be that easy to do, but it's a possibility. And I tend to have some pretty valuable things in there, like I have to carry my passport all the time, and I have it in my knapsack. So I was starting to think that, yeah, I saw those guys parked at the gas station, a little bit of a motorcycle club, scooter club. They're probably out for a Sunday drive. They just passed me. You always know it's guys like that because they have their engines tweaked to be louder than normal with the exhaust system. But anyway, I was thinking I should work out a simple system where I take one of the straps from the knapsack and run it through the hook. I have a hook there on the front of the scooter where you hang, oh, market here. I'm tempted to stop, but no. Because of the weather, I think I should just keep going. I want to get to a viewpoint, and I'll do that as early as possible while the sun is still out. But yeah, I think I can run a strap through that hook, and that would prevent someone from grabbing it. They could pull up on it, but the strap would hold it in place. I think I'm going to do that. As I said, it's not a big deal, but safety and security is all about preparing for that one very unlikely situation. It's not like I pass 1,000 scooter thieves a day. No, but I might encounter one in 2 weeks that I'm here in Padang, right? So you want to prepare for that one unusual encounter. That's when they might get you. All right, there we go. Curious how much traffic there's going to be on this road on a Sunday. More or less than on a weekday, I have no idea. But as long as there's no big accidents or breakdowns, there shouldn't be a big gridlock or anything like I encountered the other day when I came this way. Yeah, looking ahead of me, those are some tall hills and mountains. I guess you could call them mountains. I don't know what the cutoff point is. Something else I noticed when I was at the gas station is I think my front tire needs air. Maybe that's why I got a flat on my rear tire. Perhaps I just wasn't paying enough attention and the tire pressure got so low that it somehow buckled the tire, the shape of the tire, and it loosened the seal around the edges of the rim. The front tire seems like, whoa, forgot to turn off my turn signal again. So easy to do that. Yeah, I don't want to get a flat tire on my front wheel. I sometimes hesitate doing that though, because I had this experience in Thailand where I went to official mechanics shops, you know, where they repair scooters and they work on scooters, and they would pump up the tires for me, and I just let them do that. But then there was a time when I had my tire pressure gauge with me, because I have one of those for my bicycle, and I decided to just check the tire pressure. I looked at the tire to see what the proper pressure was, you know, what the recommended tire pressure was. And then I checked the pressure, and then the mechanics at these scooter shops, they pumped way more air in there than necessary. It was like way above the recommended tire pressure. Like they kind of did it by feel. So then I started not to trust these scooter shops, you know, or the places at the side of the road. It's like they didn't really know what they were doing, and they would overinflate the tire. But anyway, I should have it checked. I think it needs air right now. We're starting to climb. Oh man, look at these guys up ahead, cyclists. Hats off to you, buddies. Man, they're climbing up a steep hill. Look at these trucks coming down. They can barely move going down. Wow. They do have an advantage over me, though, in that they're riding just a bicycle. I would normally have all my gear with me. I have a very heavy bicycle, and then all of my luggage is pretty heavy too. I don't make much of an attempt to make my load lighter. So for me to climb up this road on a bicycle, on my touring bike, wow, scenery! Scenery off to the right. Maybe I'll see if I can angle my GoPro. Yeah, I've run into traffic jam already. Wonder if I should just try to zoom by everybody like these scooters are doing. That's what I did last time. This is a tricky one. The last time I did this, though, was because of the heavy rain and people weren't even moving. So it's kind of easy to ride beside the trucks. But yeah, look at the scenery off to my right. So I wonder what's going on. Like, why have I already... Oh, there's... Okay, there's a construction here. The highway is eroding. But man, those cyclists, they'd be facing not only a physical challenge, but a mental one as well, just to deal with all this traffic, the narrow roads. I don't know. Yeah, a lot of couples on scooters here. Makes me think they're like, yeah, they don't really have luggage, I don't think. They're probably pleasure, just going out for the day. Maybe going out to the lookout points where I'm going. Wow, okay. That was the scenery that I was planning to see when I chose this road originally. But I didn't see any of it because of the weather. Beautiful valleys over there, just gorgeous. Not sure if they're populated and there's roads going up into those valleys or not. Probably is. Whenever I see the people in the middle of the road asking for money, you get, you know, people raising money for mosques for the most part, building a new mosque or renovating an old one or something like that. And then you get the guys who are volunteering their time to direct traffic, and then they have a basket where they accept donations for what they're doing. But I keep thinking there must be a more efficient way to do it, because they're standing still and everybody's just zipping by them. It's really hard to give them any money. How do you do it physically? So it feels like they could somehow tweak their technique a little bit to somehow make it easier for people to give them money. The temperature is dropping really fast. It's gone down degrees already. I can feel it nice and cool on my skin. Cool morning air still being trapped here by all the trees. Just stop for a minute to take in some of the scenery. Crossing a bridge. I noticed a cluster of places here, you know, buildings and selling snacks and things. That usually means there's something interesting. So this is the scenery right here. Beautiful river. Wonder if there's a trail that heads up this direction. Looks like there's a school located over here. Some kids, they got a nice little pool right there that they can swim in. Really nice. continues on in that direction, the river. Yeah, I'll mark this spot on Google Maps and take a look at it later and see if there's any kind of a hiking trail. Go up the river. I love a good time lapse, so I switched my GoPros over to time warp mode for the rest of the ride up to the Panorama. I actually had two GoPros recording a time warp at the same time, one on my chest harness and the one that you see right now facing forward, and I wasn't sure which one offered the better view, but I decided I like this one better. It's a bit smoother, more interesting. The GoPro on my chest harness, the view from it also includes the mirrors and the grips on my scooter, so you have more of a POV perspective, but in a time warp, things are rattling and moving really fast and it looks kind of jerky, so I decided to go for this perspective. It's a bit smoother. A lot of traffic, as you can see, a lot of trucks, and everybody's moving at a different speed, which is what makes it the most challenging, because you've got scooters, motorcycles, and look at those two trucks just roared past me. I don't know where they came from. And I ended up in a little bit of a dance with a couple of these cars, like this white one that's in front of me right now. For whatever reason, the driver of that car would speed up, slow down, go really fast, stop in front of me, go really slow, then speed up. Really erratic. And you can see this car right there had all that brutal exhaust. But there's the white car again. Kept slowing down for some reason there on the corner. And I thought, nah, I'm not going to go around him because he's just going to speed up again. So I kept slowing down whenever that driver slowed down there again. And I thought, oh, I've had enough of you. So I passed him, and then he just roared right around me again. I had no idea what this driver was doing. So there I had to go past him again. And then quite often I could get around trucks easier than cars can, so I can leapfrog ahead of them. And then on a straightaway, of course, the cars would catch up with me and zoom past me again. There goes the white car. And I think that's the last time that I guess the car had had its fun, or who knows what they were doing as they were driving, and they finally just hit the gas and took off. And the crazy thing about this trip is that I still didn't have a working smartphone. I had no mobile internet, so I wasn't able to check Google Maps to get an exact distance to the Panorama. So I didn't know how far I had come. And in fact, I'd already gone way, way past it. And I nearly went all the way to Solok. And then at this point, I just decided, this is when I turned around and I'm heading all the way back again, because I knew I'd gone past the lookout point, but I never saw it. Didn't have a clue that I had gone past it. I didn't see a sign anywhere. I didn't see an access road. I didn't see a parking lot. So I just rode and rode and rode and rode. And in fact, I left out probably 20 kilometers of time lapse because, I just rode for so long. I was having such a good time curving around this road. But I left all of that out. And I picked up the time warp when I'm almost here, like almost back at the Panorama. And this time, I was really careful. I stopped many times along the way to check Google Maps, and then I could see my position and I could see the Panorama. I just couldn't get an accurate estimation of how far it was, but I could just kind of look, and here it is. I found the entrance to the Panorama, and I believe this is Panorama number 2. I never ever saw Panorama number 1. Well, I made it. I'm actually at lookout point number 2 because my first time coming up, I blew right past them both. I went past lookout point number 1 and lookout point number 2. I never saw either one of them. And as far as I know, there are no signs on the road at all. If there were signs, I didn't see them. You just sort of have to know where it is. There's like a little right over there. You know, there's an entrance road here and then another one up there. That's the main road right there. But if you don't know what that is, for me anyway, as a casual visitor, I just blew right past it. I had no idea it was even here. I never saw a thing. And I went way up the road. I was way past here, many kilometers on my way to the city of Solok. And I started to get this feeling like, no, this can't be right. I've gone way too far, because I'd already gone over the peak and I was on my way down. And I thought, no, this geographically didn't feel right. I must have gone right past it. So then I turned around and came back here. And yeah, I went very slowly and I just kept checking Google Maps over and over again until I knew I was exactly here. And then I found it. So yeah, I don't know about the view, how things are looking. Not great as far as I can tell. I mean, a nice view of laundry anyway. But I guess from over here, hello there, little monkey. So that's the view down over Padang, but there's really nothing to see at all. It's just cloud and mist, so timing is not that great. So I can see on a clear day that would look really nice, but today there isn't really any kind of a view. But as they say, it's the journey, not the destination. And the ride to get up here was amazing. That was really a lot of fun. It was nice to do this road a second time, but to do it when it's not pouring down rain. Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna find a seat somewhere. Either this is like one of the restaurants here, and then there's a couple more down here. I think I'm gonna go to the less popular one. I think there's a couple of spots right down here where you can get a cup of coffee or something, and that's really all I want. Yeah, I think I'll just pop inside here. Right by the lookout, the viewpoint. Oh, all right. Here I am. I ordered a kopi susu and grabbed a couple of pieces of bread to enjoy with my coffee. And from here, it looks like the main entertainment is going to be the traffic. Just to see all these trucks going around this corner very slowly. Going downhill steeply. They're all in first gear or whatever gear is below first gear. Yeah. Definitely had no idea there was any kind of a view here at all when I rode down here the other day. But with all, you know, the heavy rains that day and today, of course, no view at all. But hey, as I said, really enjoyable ride. And I'm looking forward to going down from this point. So I have my GoPro perched precariously on the edge there. Hopefully the wind doesn't blow it over. I'll have to do some serious climbing to get down there to retrieve it. Just stirring up my kopi susu, getting all the susu off the bottom, mixed in with the rest. And I have no idea what's involved with this bread. So each package has 2 little pieces. Lemon flavored. Man, the life of a truck driver here. Something else. I enjoy all these documentaries about truckers, you know, ice road truckers, things like that. The truckers in Africa. It's all really interesting. They could do a documentary about being a truck driver here. Certain challenges come along with riding on these roads. Of course, they're not nearly as physically grueling as like ice road truckers, like the ice roads or the muddy roads of Africa sometimes. These are all paved roads. Whoa, there's a truck coming around that corner very fast. Oh yeah, he controlled it, but I guess he is like one of these gas tanker trucks, but I don't think he had any fuel. This truck was really light. He was really moving. But even though these roads are paved, this is the main roads going in and out of Padang, the major city. These are the major roads, right? So the truck drivers go up and down these roads all the time. Certainly some interesting aspects to their lives, I think. Just wanted to capture a minute or two of some of this traffic. We got 3 trucks, 4 trucks, and a bus all going around this corner at the same time. That one orange truck is in extreme low gear. You can hear his air brakes constantly sounding, or whatever you say about air brakes. Yeah, look at that. It's just crazy. And of course, they're building the new highway. There's a brand new toll road, brand new highway being built all the way from Padang to Bukit Tinggi, and all the way from Padang to Pekanbaru. And it's going to go right through the mountains. You know, they're cutting tunnels through the hills, all that sort of thing. So once that road opens up, the traffic here will drop down a lot. There's that orange truck just creaking along with its air brakes. Got a heavy load, whatever he's carrying. So this is what the whole place looks like. We've got some cafes over here as well. This one seems to be the main one on the corner. And then that structure there. And a bunch more over there. Yeah, nice place. And apparently there's some kind of a bathroom over here, which I'm going to make use of before I start my ride down the hill. Inside the toilet, I'm not quite sure what that means, so I'll have to look that up. Buang air kecil. Something, you know, air is water, so 2,000 rupiah to use it, and they're very, they give you a nice little window. You can look out the window. And one thing about these places is they always have an abundance of water. Like just, there's some sort of a natural river or spring or something. Just tons of water flowing all the time, which is nice. Alright. Gotta somehow turn around and get out the door. Oh yeah. Like that one, see what I mean? Just such a huge amount of water. Big basin there, constantly filling, always filling that up. Just kind of cool. Oh yeah, okay, this looks interesting. I've always noticed in these restaurants, it's kind of odd, but the noodles that they serve tend to be like instant noodles, which is kind of weird. But then they use a lot of fresh ingredients on top of that. So like here. So yeah, actually I might have a bowl of noodles while I'm here. This looks very enticing. You know, they got the fresh broth, the noodles all ready to go. And I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, so they're all pre-prepared with the spicing. Each one is all ready to go for when the crowds come. Yeah, and I'm not really sure what those are over there. But I think you can get egg noodles. It turns out that that bowl of things I was looking at, I made a fool out of myself because I asked them, like, what is that mystery item in your bowls there? He says, oh, those are eggs, you know, because I'm ordering, you know, mie telur, like noodles with egg. I don't know what else to call that. And then I'm telling them I want eggs, and then I point at the bowl, like, what is that mystery thing? And they, sir, those are the eggs. Yeah, it's like, oh, I just didn't recognize them. They look like poached eggs. So they look more like some sort of a pastry or something. Anyway, I guess I'll sit right here. Restaurant number 2. That's where I was before. I was over there somewhere. Same viewpoint, same clouds. Noodles have arrived. Looks good. I mean, like I said, the noodles themselves are just instant noodles out of a package. As I said, always seems weird to me. Go to a restaurant and you get the same noodles you'd get at the convenience store when, 2-minute instant noodles that you would have in your hotel room. And yet at a restaurant, you sort of expect better than that. But anyway, the rest looks good. Funny thing though is, as often happens, the roar of the trucks and the buses down there, they asked me about my spice preference. Like, do I mind if it's spicy? And I ended up saying, yeah, okay, spice is okay. But it turns out what they did here is they gave me a separate dish of chili. So they said, chili, do you like chili? And I said yes to the chili, but this much actual chili, no, I have no use for any of that. So now I feel bad that I said yes to the chili, and they bring me a whole plate of it, and I don't think I'm going to have much, if any. I thought they were asking, like, do you mind if we put, the flavor packets in with your noodles? And I was like, yeah, I don't mind. Well, here's a rare moment where even I think it needs more flavor, because I don't think they added anything like the flavor packets that come with the instant noodles. They didn't even put that in there, so it has no flavor at all. It's just like noodles and water. But I'll even add some of the chili. Not a huge amount, but we'll mix this in there. That's better. Wow. But even that little bit of chili that I added has a powerful effect. So be very delicate with adding that chili, unless you know what you're getting yourself into. I'm starting to wonder if there is an ebb and flow to the traffic, like throughout the day, busier times and slower times, because I didn't see a whole lot of traffic on the way up. And now the truck traffic seems endless. And look at all these trucks coming around the corner. And all the cars. So it looks like the rest of my ride back down into Padang, I'm going to encounter a lot more truck traffic than I did on the way up. And I wonder whether that just happens throughout the day. Less in the morning, and then suddenly, like right now, it's not that late. It's only 11 o'clock in the morning. So maybe that's when the trucks arrive at this part of the highway. But yeah, I've got a lot of challenging riding ahead of me, it looks like, on the way down. And I can feel rain coming in, so I got to get out of here quickly. The air is starting to feel, more and more. The wind is picking up. I got to get out of here quick. So that is it. Lunch is done here. I'm just going to probably ride almost straight from here down to Padang. Like I said, there's one other viewpoint number 1. But since there are no actual views, I may drive into it to see what it looks like, but I'm not going to get out there and have a cup of coffee. So I think I'm just going to run a time lapse for the ride all the way down out of the mountains, just to see what happens with all these trucks. So, cue the time lapse. Here we go with time lapse number 2, or time warp, I should say. Have to give the parking attendant a bit of money there. Actually, I gave him 5,000 rupiah, and he gave me 3,000 rupiah change. I'd never been given change before by a parking attendant, so I guess the official fee is 2,000. And you just saw a young guy there standing on the corner, you see a number of them, and these guys are on the corners directing traffic to make sure everybody goes by safely. And then occasionally a driver of a truck or a car will give them money, and they earn a living that way. So here I am going down all those trucks that I was watching from my cafe there, eating noodles and drinking coffee. Now I get to pass all of them. Yeah, even though we're going downhill, all of those trucks are going just as slowly downhill as they were going uphill. You know, for obvious reasons, they can't race downhill, so they're not riding their brakes, because their brakes would burn out. They're down in a low gear and just grinding their way down. So they're going quite slowly, pretty easy to pass, whether on the left or on the right. There's another one of those guys collecting money. Yeah, it was a lot of fun going down. I was really happy that it didn't rain at all. And as it turned out, as I talk about in a minute, the weather got better and better as I came down out of the mountains and went back into Padang. So this ride through the mountains went by pretty quickly. I think my ride up felt like it was really long, but that's because I went like 20 kilometers past the Panorama point. I didn't realize I'd gone right by it. So in fact, I rode a lot farther than I needed to. And now that I was just going from the Panorama back to Padang, it was a much shorter distance than I'd ridden to come up. So it went by really quickly. Going around those corners, you have to be careful, because the trucks coming up will take those corners really wide. They have to take them very wide in order to get around them, and that means they come right out into your lane, and you have to pull over way to the left, unless you want a head-on collision with one of those behemoths, and of course you don't want that. And further down, I get into heavier traffic, and I end up doing a maneuver a couple of times that I generally don't do. Like, I've gotten used to a lot of the driving in Sumatra, passing on the left on a road like this. It may look dangerous in this video, but it isn't really dangerous in real life, because I'm going a lot slower, obviously, than how it looks here, and the trucks are going a lot slower than it seems. But there's another maneuver when you get into really heavy traffic inside a town, where you pass on the right, and yet the traffic is so far, like it's such a long traffic jam, you know you're not going to make it to the front of the lineup. And you pass anyway, because what you plan on doing is zooming along the traffic, and then when you get blocked, you just pull into a gap between two cars. Whether there's a gap there or not, you sort of force people to slow down to let you in. And I don't normally do that, but I remember on this trip I did it a couple of times, and there's a good example of doing that coming up. I'll point it out when it happens. And yeah, it's not something I normally do. It feels kind of rude just to zoom ahead, and then whenever you feel like it, cut to the left, and then make everybody, slow down and make room for you. But that's a very common driving tactic for Indonesians. Like right here, right there, I did it. I zoomed out around the traffic, but then there was traffic heading straight for me, and I had no choice but to cut over to the left in between the cars. And yeah, as I said, I don't normally do that, but I was in a very fast-moving mood today. Yeah, I really enjoyed this ride, going up and now coming back down. Going up, I stopped a lot at various intersections just to refresh my memory about which bridge I had to cross at intersections. Do I need to turn left or turn right? But for some reason, coming back down, I had a pretty good memory of everything I needed to do. So most of this ride went by in one quick drive. And whenever I got to an intersection, I seemed to kind of remember which way I needed to go. And I didn't have to stop as often to check Google Maps. I had a little bit of tag going with that truck there, that Petramina, there's a gas truck up there, and then for some reason we seemed to be going at the same speed, and then he would catch up with me, then I would catch up with him, and we kept passing each other. There I am catching up to him again. But that often happens if you're going at the same speed as another vehicle, and you end up pacing each other. And at this point, I wanted to go past him, but then I thought, why pass him? Because he's just going to catch up with me again. So I just hung back and let him go ahead. But yeah, you learn how to live side by side with all these big trucks when you're on the roads of Sumatra. You have to coexist with these monsters. They are everywhere. And here, I got past him. I think I had to. I didn't have a choice. And I can't remember now whether he caught up with me again or not. He may. We'll see what happens in a minute. So I'm back in the town of Padang proper at this point. And now I plan on cutting away to the left to, you get that as well, that car that just did a U-turn right in front of me. You really have to watch out for that because the cars will go right in front of you, even though if you maintained the same speed, you would slam right into them. I mean, they see you coming, but the way the pecking order works, they are bigger than you as a scooter, so they have the right of way, so they can just cut in front of you on a U-turn and expect you to look out for them and then stop or slow down to let them in. It's just the way it is. And the cars will make, oh, there goes my Petramina truck. I guess I stopped there to check Google Maps to make sure I was on the right path. But yeah, we all have to give way to whatever is bigger than us. I give way to cars, cars give way to the trucks, and we all live happily ever after for the most part. In this case, I think I only had one GoPro running. So I talked earlier about how the chest harness GoPro in a time warp looks a little bit jittery. This one doesn't seem that bad for some reason, but you can see that GoPro on the grip, on that extension arm is sort of bouncing around. And I don't know, when I was watching this, it looked a little bit distracting to me. There it is, there's my truck again. I managed to zip through the traffic and get ahead of him. And then, yeah, they call that filtering, right? You filter through all the cars and trucks that are stopped at a traffic light so you can filter all the way to the front. I think in countries around the world, filtering is either legal or illegal. There I just did a quick left-hand turn. I remembered that one, so I didn't have to stop to check Google Maps. And I don't know if technically filtering is legal or illegal in Indonesia. I don't think it matters much. Everybody does it, so you just do the same thing. And I remember learning about filtering when I was living in Taipei, and I had a scooter there. And for a long time, I didn't filter. I would just stay in traffic because my idea was if I filter all the way to the front of all the cars, they're just going to have to pass me again anyway. So what's the point of getting ahead of them and then I just make them pass me all over again? So I would just hang back. But then I realized drivers were expecting me to filter, so they weren't expecting to find a scooter parked in the lineup of cars at a traffic light, and you ran a real risk of being rear-ended. So it turned out, I think, to be much safer to filter between all the cars, get to the very front, and it's much safer. You're not, you avoid the risk of getting rear-ended. I got very nervous if I was waiting at a traffic light and cars coming up behind me. I just thought they might hit me from behind. And a few seconds ago, I went over that railroad track that I talked about. Oh, I thought I didn't check my map that often coming in, but obviously I'm a liar because this is the third time that I'm checking Google Maps, and just to get reoriented. Still haven't met up with the rivers yet. That should be coming up pretty soon. And once I'm at the rivers, then I'm kind of back in my... Aha, there we are. Passing over a river, and there's the recycling center with the garbage fire that I passed on my way out. And now I get to ride alongside the river. And I'm turning GoPro number 1 around. So this is the view from the GoPro. So it's smoother, right? It isn't as jittery as the one on my chest harness. And here, I believe, I stop. Oh, going on a little bit farther along the river. My favorite ride in Padang, just a ride along the river here. I did this ride so many times while I was there. It's a beautiful part of the city. They're really lucky to have this river system, and doubly lucky to have preserved the roads that run along beside it. So here, finally, I'm back in Padang, and I'm trying to decide what to do with the rest of my day. And here's my decision. Well, I interrupt this time lapse just to say that I'm back in Padang right now, and my original plan was just to end my morning adventure here and go back to my hostel. But I don't know, since I came down out of the mountains, all that cloud and haze and mist down here all vanished, and the sun is out and shining. So what I'm going to do is head down the coast again. I'm going to leave Padang City, going down this amazing road. I love scootering up and down this ocean road here. So I'm going to head down south again to a very fancy cafe called Lighthouse Padang. I've wanted to go to this place, I just haven't had a chance yet. And I think I'm going to take the opportunity today to ride to Lighthouse. It's maybe 12, 15 kilometers away, and have a cold drink there, and I'll end my morning adventures there. But I'm going to shoot another time lapse going all the way from here to Lighthouse. So I only have enough GoPro battery to run one GoPro, so I'm going to run this one at the front, turn it around, have it aiming at the road ahead of me, and just record the ride to Lighthouse by time lapse. So countdown to time lapse. Time lapse number 2 or number 3, I've lost count. Counting down, 1, 2, 3, time lapse. Well, here we are, time lapse number 3. I hope anyone watching this video loves time lapses as much as I do, because you are getting a lot of them. But I'm doing a little bit different thing with this video, of course. Rather than just playing background music and letting the time lapse play, I'm doing this narration of the trip. And technically, of course, it's not really a time lapse. The difference is that a time lapse, the camera is staying in one spot. Like your camera is stationary on a tripod or something. This, when the camera is moving, we would call this, coming from a GoPro, it's called a time warp. So if the camera is moving, but it's still stabilized video, that is a time warp, not a time lapse. So this is my favorite ride. That's Gunyang Park, just on the right there. I visited that on an earlier day, and now I'm climbing up along the coastal road that goes south out of Padang. And I've lost count of how many times I rode on this road, to be honest. And I decided to pull over from time to time whenever I saw an opening in the trees where there was a nice view. And I would stop the scooter, and then I would count to 5 or 6 or 7. Because, if you just stop there and then ride away again on a time warp, it's not long enough. So you have to force yourself to wait just a couple of seconds to get a nice view. But I came along this way the other day when I visited Sweetwater Beach, and we're looking towards, it's around that point, Sweetwater Beach is around that peninsula there. We haven't quite reached it yet. Back onto the road. A couple of times you could see there was a mudslide there. There's heavy rains frequently in Padang while I was there, and there were a number of mudslides that covered the entire road. And then when I went through on my scooter, I'd be up to my ankles in that red, soupy kind of mud. And here I'm doing a little bit of a detour because a friend of mine, Daryl from the Wander Eats YouTube channel, he spotted a guest house that seemed to have amazing views and at a very, very good price. And I knew about this place, and I wanted to show Daryl. Here it is right here, called The View. So this is a place where you can stay in Padang. Offers beautiful views at a really good price. But as I said to Daryl, the issue for me would be that it is out of town, and you've got to get all the way up this hill to get there. So it's a beautiful location, good place to stay if you're with friends or with family, but maybe if you're on your own, like in my case, I prefer to be in the middle of downtown. But anyway, I just took a little detour up there just so I could show Daryl the location of the View guest house. And I cut that section of video out and I sent it to Daryl already, but I thought I would just keep it in the video here as well. So that's, I don't know if that's Sweetwater yet or not. There's one more view coming up where I get a nice view of Sweetwater Beach. All along this coastal road, you can see on the right-hand side and on the left, actually, both sides of the road, there are a lot of cafes, very simple local places run by families, and then some nicer places like that are more like, businesses. And yeah, just tons of places where you can pull over, have a drink, cold or hot drink, and take in the scenery of the coastline. I think I'm creeping up on my nice view of Sweetwater. Is this it? Not quite yet. That is Sweetwater Beach right there. I went walking along that beach in a previous video, but I think there's one more view of Sweetwater coming up. I think I kept pulling over to the side of the road because I remembered this one view, and I kept thinking, oh, this must be it. This must be it. No, this must be it. And now this one, I think, finally, this one is the one. Okay. So there is a nice view of a Sweetwater Beach. Pantai Air Manis, I believe, is the name in Indonesian. And the next major spot on the way is the harbor, Teluk Bayur, and I spin the GoPro around on my scooter because there's the harbor right there. Sort of an industrial shipping harbor. It's quite an interesting place. As I mentioned in previous videos, my hometown in Canada is called Sarnia, and Sarnia's economy is based on petrochemical industries. All along the St. Clair River, you see huge oil refineries and all kinds of, industrial processing plants that look exactly like this. So this is a very familiar sight to me to see something like this. I loved riding my scooter through here. Quite an interesting place. A lot of heavy trucks coming in to unload and load up from the ships. As I commented in the video from time to time, you really had to put your visor down when you went through here because there was a lot of dirt and grit and dust in the air, and it would get in your eyes if you ride through here on your scooter or motorcycle. Getting close to the other end of the harbor area, and here I turn right. And here I've linked up with actually the main Sumatran highway, which goes all the way down the coast. So you could follow this highway all the way down to the city of Bengkulu, and then from Bengkulu all the way down to the southern tip of Sumatra, and then take a ferry across to Java. So basically what I'm saying is this is the main road. So like everything has to take this road. So it is quite busy, especially with the truck traffic. It can be quite challenging. Here I want to turn my scooter around to get a look at the water, but with all that traffic, man, you have to be so careful. But there's a view of Teluk Bayur, and I noticed how shallow the water was here. So it must be deeper out there because big ships go in and out of that harbor. So I'm trying to rejoin traffic again. And here I think I passed by at some point a bunch of monkeys. And that is one thing you have to think about as well when you're riding a scooter along these roads, particularly if you're passing trucks on the left. You can't pass trucks on the left here because the road is just way too narrow. But if the road was wider and there was a shoulder, there's all the monkeys, you just saw them. And when I was coming down from the Panorama and I was passing trucks on the left on the shoulder, you would occasionally run into a troop of monkeys, and they might be sitting on the shoulder, waiting for truck drivers or people in cars to toss out some bananas or something for them. So that was one danger of passing on the left. You had to keep an eye out for the monkeys that might be sitting there. And you can startle them too. And the last thing you want is a startled monkey, leaping onto your back as you ride past. That would not be that would be no fun. So the road is really starting to climb here, and even though I'd gone down this road multiple times, and every single time I was keeping an eye out for the Lighthouse Cafe. I think they just call it Padang Lighthouse. I never saw it. And I comment on this quite a bit in my videos that as I traveled around West Sumatra, I was always looking for signs, but there were never signs, for restaurants, things like that, pointing the way. Right there, that's Lighthouse Cafe. Right there, that wall that you see, that is where I was supposed to turn right. And yet, coming up to that place, there were no signs. There's the real lighthouse, that big blue building on the right. That is an actual lighthouse for the ships. And then, of course, that area with the big long fence that I pointed out, that is the parking lot for the Lighthouse Cafe. But anyway, there were no signs saying, 500 meters ahead, lighthouse, 200 meters ahead, lighthouse. There was nothing leading up to it. And even when I arrived at it, there was no sign with an arrow saying Lighthouse Cafe here. There was nothing. So, and the roads are so narrow and there's so much traffic that all my concentration was on the road and making sure I didn't get hit coming around one of these corners. So yeah, I every single time I would go right past the Lighthouse Cafe, not even know it was there. By this point, coming down the other side, I knew I had gone too far. I knew I had missed it. And I wanted to turn around and go back, but it was too narrow and too dangerous to do a U-turn there. So I rode all the way down to the bottom, right here. And here I thought, the road widened a little bit, and then here I could turn around and do a U-turn here and head back up. So, yeah, I do this all the time when I'm looking for a place. I would just zoom past it, realize I'd missed it, turn around, go back, miss it again, turn around, go back, and slowly but surely, almost like a pendulum swinging back and forth, and I'd slowly zero in on my destination. And I think at this point, I realized it was going to be very difficult to pass that truck that was ahead of me. It was really building up a lot of traffic. And I could pass it, but I knew I would want to turn left into the lighthouse anyway. So it would be kind of, oh, look at that. Oh, see that? That truck was heading right for me in a head-on collision. So I pulled over to the left and I stopped. But anyway, I made the decision not to pass anybody. I was just going to hang back, go really slowly, let everybody pass me, and then that would, ensure that when I got to the Lighthouse Cafe, I would be able to, turn left and enter the parking lot. So, yeah. I'm really being careful at this point. I'm watching like a hawk. It's like, where is this place? how in the world can this place be so hidden? Or I was starting to think maybe it didn't even exist. So I'm watching carefully, looking towards the left and to the right. I assumed it was on the left side of the road, but I didn't know that for sure. Stopped to look on Google Maps just to make sure that I was still on the right track. There's the Lighthouse, the blue building. That's the real lighthouse. So I figured Lighthouse Cafe was a short distance ahead. And then, luckily, I found it. I think I missed the entrance. It's coming up pretty shortly, and I blew right past the entrance, not knowing it. Here it is. There's the entrance. And then I realized, oh, that must be the place. And here I went in, and this was actually the exit, but I found it. I still wasn't sure, though, because I still had not seen any kind of a sign that said Lighthouse. Well, I appear to have arrived. It was a bit of a longer journey than I thought because I went right past it again. I think I knew where it was, and I saw it go by me. And this is up at the top of a hill. But instead of like stopping right on the road and doing a U-turn, I decided to keep going ahead, looking for a safe place to stop and turn around. And there really was no real safe place. So I just kept going and going and going and going, went all the way down the other side, all the way to this town where there's a fishing harbor that I visited before. And then I turned around and it came all the way back up the hill again. But here is, I believe this is the lighthouse. Again, there's no real signage. A lot of places in Indonesia lack signs, I find. So I won't know what this place is until, and they have it sort of blocked off so that you can't see the place. They have these galvanized tin sheets all along the road. Makes it look more like a construction site than a fancy restaurant. But there was an opening here, so I pulled in, and yeah, I think this is the restaurant right here. So let's head inside. Well, they take themselves very seriously here. They have a system, I guess it's like a minimum payment, like minimum drinks or food. And the way they do it is with a voucher, apparently. So you buy a voucher at the entrance for 50,000 rupiah, and then you can exchange it for food and drinks. So it's a way of guaranteeing that you spend at least that much while you're here. No cheapskates allowed. And they do have a sign at the front. I thought it said no cameras allowed, but it said no professional cameras allowed. And I don't think a GoPro qualifies as professional. So I think we're okay. But yeah, the scenery looks very nice. Oh. So yeah, so there's some seating over there, and there seems to be some pathways heading off in that direction. I guess I'll explore a little bit before I settle down. Oop. So there's we finally see a sign for the place. Lighthouse. Bukit Lampu. I assume that means, yeah, light hill, I think that means. So here's the seating area over here. Okay. Oh yeah, this is the view that I was hoping for. Okay. This is what I was expecting. Okay, so that this place definitely deserves its reputation for that view. The funny thing is, I went all the way up the hill. Those mountains way over there, I went all the way up those mountains to get a view of Padang, and I got no view at all because of the clouds. But here, way on the other side, I actually do have a view of Padang. There it is, right there. And this is the harbor, Teluk Bayur. Yeah, that's the shipping harbor. And the road that I followed goes all the way through the shipping harbor, and then down the coast, down that side, all the way around. But there is a shortcut. There's a faster road that goes straight in, but I always like to take that side road. But yeah, look at that. Gorgeous view. And there's some beaches down here. I haven't visited any of these beaches, so I don't know what those are like over there. But you can see a lot of the ships out here waiting for their turn to either get loaded or unloaded. Yeah, beautiful view in this direction as well. Nice. And here's the building. And this is the walkway that I spotted. I'm guessing that in the evening, especially getting towards sunset, this place would be very busy. I did read a couple of things online. People were saying that you should have a reservation when you come here, but I think that would apply to sunset times, you know, like the absolute most popular times. Right now, there's plenty of seating, so there's no worries about that. And I did see some comments online. There were people talking about this voucher system and having a problem with it. So, to be honest, when the woman, I forgot all about the voucher business. And then when the woman at the entrance said something about a voucher, I kind of held my breath for a second. It was like, oh boy, okay, this could be bad. I thought she was going to say something like 500,000 rupiah or some really high sum. Because as I said, I did hear some people complaining about the vouchers, or I don't really remember what they said. But I was starting to think that maybe through the voucher system, they would force you to spend a lot more than you wanted to or something. But then she just said 50,000 rupiah for the voucher. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, chances are you're going to spend 50,000 anyway at a place like this. So to me, it hardly seems necessary to have a voucher system. I don't know how you could come into a place like this and not spend 50,000. But I guess, well, yeah, what do I know? I'm no business person, but I suppose lots of people would try to come in just to see the view and leave again without buying anything, and the voucher system prevents that. It's more like an entrance ticket, I guess, more than anything else. But I could not have come up with a better time to be here in terms of the weather, the sunshine, clear skies, my mood and energy levels. It's perfect timing. Very rare on planet Doug to experience perfect timing. Let's see, I think there's some other stairs here. Oh yeah, we can head down here. Lately, I find myself making excellent choices, and I find myself with very good timing. Very unusual on planet Doug. So, yeah, beautiful here. Very nice. I like the white, you know. Feels very fresh and cool, even in the hot sun, just because of the white paint. Very nice day. But my decision to come here right now really was, oh, for Pete's sake, I left my knapsack on my scooter. I knew something felt wrong. Hopefully it's still there. Whew. My heart can stop pounding now. Can you believe I forgot that? I do things like that all the time these days. Yeah, still there. Yeah, I don't know what it is about me these days. Again, of course, I blame it on YouTube. I keep saying 90% of my brain is occupied with shooting video, but I think it's closer to 99%. I've got 1% of my brain left over for everything else. And that 1% isn't enough to even remember to park my scooter and take the key. I keep leaving the key in the ignition, and now I'm forgetting to even take my knapsack. Oh boy, crazy. So far, I haven't paid for any of these mistakes. Like, I mean, to be honest, I think I left the key in the ignition of the scooter once, but once is too many times. But the scooter was still there, and now I left this knapsack like right there in the parking lot. So silly. And luckily for me, it's still there because it has my passport in it right now, plus all of my camera gear. So yeah, I'm so glad it was still there. My day would have been taking a turn for the worse if it was gone by the time I got back. And I always forget my scooter helmet. Like when I leave my hotel room, when I have a scooter, I think of everything. I stop at the door, like, okay, I've got my GoPro, other GoPro, I've got the batteries, I've got my wallet, I've got the passport, I've got this, I've got papers, I've got everything. I leave my room, lock the door, go all the way downstairs, get to the scooter. Ugh, helmet. I always forget I need the helmet. And I have to go all the way back up to my room and get it. That's the main thing that I forget all the time. Ouch. So I think this is the last part of the restaurant. I'm not sure what this area is. Could be a private or for staff. I'm not really sure. But down here, there's sort of a patio. Beautiful view of the ocean. And it looks like they could have barbecues down here. Got a grill. So it's time to take a seat. I've had an eager table attendant has been chasing me around. He's very eager for me to sit down. He's like, "Where do you want to sit, sir? Where? Make up your mind." But I can make him happy now that I've seen everything. I'm like a dog. I have to explore, or like a cat. I have to explore everything, look everywhere before I can finally choose where to sit down. Palm tree against the blue sky. Beautiful. What a place. This place deserves its reputation. It really does. Very happy that I came up here today. They do have music playing, so I don't think I can speak very long. I don't know if the copyright systems will pick out this music, but it probably will. So here is the menu. Give you a quick look at it. Main courses, some spaghetti and chicken, carbonara, pizzas, finger food, desserts, and a bunch of drinks. So I'm going to look this over, see what I want. It was just brought to my table, and I ordered a kind of a yogurt banana shake, which is over there. But again, I think with the Lighthouse Cafe, this is why you're here. That's the view from my table. So time to give this a try. I'm all done my lunch here at the Lighthouse. Thought I'd capture one last look at the harbor and the beaches here. There's a large ship here just pulling in right now. Yeah, the restaurant is right behind me. Looks very nice. And that's it. With this view behind me, I guess I'm calling it the end of this morning's small adventures. Worked out pretty well. My ride up to the lookout points, I didn't get any views from up there really, but I had a really nice ride. I enjoyed that quite a bit. And then I ended up getting my views from over here. So there you go. It all evened out in the end. Yeah, not a bad lunch. I mean, my banana yogurt shake was okay. Fish and chips was unusual. I hadn't had fish and chips forever. I can't remember the last time I had anything like that. And it was fine. Yeah, chips were fine. Mayonnaise, the fish, I don't know what kind of fish it was, but battered fish, it was fine too. So yeah, I don't know whether the food or the menu here would be high on the list of people who really care about food. As I said, I don't think it's that kind of place. People come here for the views, not necessarily for the high quality of the food, but there's nothing wrong with the fish and chips that I had. So, and I saw someone here having a pizza. Pizza looked good, like real thin crust, nice looking pizza. So that's it. I'm gonna hop on the scooter, ride back into Padang, and I'll see you in the next video.